Welcome to another video about how Hudson Valley farmers manage soil health. Today we'll visit some farms that use cover crops. Cover crops are a great way to manage soil health. Winter rye is the cover crop of choice at the Fullerton farm in Argyle, New York, Washington County. It is really our most simple cover crop to use. It's adapted to a lot of different soil pHs and soil types. It's very winter hardy. In this field, the Fullertons simply plowed down the rye before planting. And after planting, we had some very heavy rain, and you can see that there's no erosion. That's because cover crops improve the physical structure or the tilth of the soil, and it helps water infiltrate into the soil. When water infiltration stops, erosion begins. This is the same field on July 16, 2019. You can see that it's nice and green. When the rye gets to be about knee-high, it has enough nitrogen in it for it to decompose. But once it starts getting beyond knee-high, the percent nitrogen decreases, and then it starts using soil nitrogen to decompose. So at that point, we start adding 60 pounds of nitrogen at planting rather than the normal 30. In this field, on May 22, 2019, Fullertons are using a zone builder to till a deep zone where they will be planting the corn. Then herbicides can be sprayed either before or just after planting. The more the rye grows, the more organic matter you're adding to the soil, and the more organic matter you add to the soil, the more you feed the microbes and improve soil health. Setting up your planter with the proper row cleaners and closing wheels is really important. There are lots of options, and I think the best advice is to understand your soil conditions and talk with other farmers and salesmen and see what fits best for your conditions, and then try a couple different setups on each row unit. Moving on to a different farm in Washington County, New York, Jay Skelly also plants through standing rye. You would think that tall rye would wrap around the different parts of the planter, but as long as it's green and rooted in, it does. The rye crop is terminated with herbicides, and the corn grows right up through. Having this mulch is really important because it reduces the force of a driving rain, and that helps water infiltration. Also, it protects the soil from the hot sun. You can see here that we have a nice even crop even after going through a wet spring and a dry summer. Against the Grain Farm in southern Washington County likes to use red clover as a cover crop. This cover crop was planted after barley harvest in 2018, and not only protects the soil through the winter, but it also adds nitrogen for the next crop. On these clover roots you will see many little nodules where rhizobia bacteria convert nitrogen from the air into nitrate, which is the form of nitrogen that the plants can use. This is the clover on April 19th, 2019. And this is the clover on May 4th. A good clover crop like this can add 60 to over 100 pounds of nitrogen for the next crop. At Henderson Pond Farm in southern Washington County, they're using a cover crop mix of oats, winter peas, and radish. The oats and radish will winter kill. The winter peas may or may not winter kill depending on how harsh the winter is. Cover crops are even good when they're dead. The cover crop mix died through the winter and protected the soil. In the spring, an oat crop was planted, and it turned out to be a great crop of oats for 2019. There are lots of choices for cover crops for any part of the season. And the great thing about cover crops is that they improve the biological health of the soil, the tilth, and the fertility.